Hey guys, so this is breaking news. Just happened as I was finishing this up for you guys, and looks like Trump says he and the First Lady tested positive for coronavirus. According to Associated Press, President Donald Trump said Friday that he and First Lady Melania Trump have tested positive for coronavirus just as a month before the presidential election and having spent much of the last year largely downplaying the threat of the virus. Trump's positive test came just hours after he confirmed that senior aide Hope Hicks, who had traveled with him for several times this week, had come down with the virus. Trump was last seen by reporters returning to the White House on Thursday evening and looked to be in good health. So ultimately, he was with this person. They've caught it, and now apparently so did the president. It's gonna be insane these next few weeks. What is this gonna do to the campaign? What is this going to do to his health? What is this going to do to the movement forward here? Again, interesting timing for all this stuff. Craziness. Just want to let you guys know that. Heard it here first. Breaking news as I was doing this, and you guys will see this firsthand. On with the show. What did we just see? What did we just see? One Mediator Media here, bringing you the latest. A lot of issues out there, a lot of stuff going on. Let's just cover it. Let's not waste any time. Let's just go. Let's mediate.
Both campaigns have agreed to these rules.
Patrick, say that again.
That again.
Both campaigns have agreed to these rules.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's get ready to rumble!
Speak. Vote. Will you shut up, man?
Stop it!
You used the word smart, but you forgot the name of your college. You graduated either the lowest in your class. Don't ever use the word smart with me.
Stop it!
There's nothing smart about you.
You're the worst president America has ever had.
Stop it!
In 47 months, I've done more than you've done in 47 years.
STOP, new word, IT.
I'm not going to answer the question. Shut up, man.
No, we don't go there. Just stop.
Now, what kind of short staining show did we just see? Incredible, unbelievable that we could see this going on. We have two candidates that are fighting for this, literally fighting for this position, and they went all out. Don't even know what to say. It was just incredible. By now, you guys are all aware of what happened. Probably tired of hearing of it. Our goal today is not even to go over all that. We touched it. You saw that short video. Hope you enjoyed it. That's essentially what it was. It was a free-for-all. It was a battle. It was not what it should have been at all. And so today, I just kind of wanted to go over a few things with you guys. I wanted to go over what debates used to look like. I just want to cover some videos. We're going to do something quick today. Debates looked very different as far back as even the last election. We go before that. You got Obama in the White House. Again, I wasn't a big fan of Obama, but hey, he was in the White House. We had George W. Bush before him. We have those debates. We have before him Bill Clinton. Before him, we had, of course, George Herbert Walker Bush, the first George Bush, and he was in there. We have Reagan. Well, let's go all the way back to Kennedy and Nixon. As far back as you go, where have we gotten to? And it's not just in the White House. You look at everywhere. You look at all the protests. You look at the riots. You look at what's happening in the street. You look at all the, let's just call it the social aspects of society and what's happened. From as far back as we can remember, as far back as we recorded it, those debates when they started, people hitting the street. We did have riots throughout history. We had some during Rodney King, had some during Watts, had some throughout history. We had riots. But there was, I think, a slight difference. When those riots happened, typically people would wait. Like, in other words, there was an injustice. Let's just say months. It carried on, and then there was a reaction. Even with Rodney King, people waited until the 4 officers, I believe it was 4 if I remember correctly, were acquitted, and they did not have to serve any time for what they did. And that, the people waited for a reaction. After that, we had riots. Okay. In that situation, again, there's always two sides, right? Rodney King, there was evidence of PCP. He was out of his mind. As you guys probably know, when somebody's on PCP, they're out of control. They got superhuman strength. You can't control them. So that's why 4 officers couldn't control the guy. But he was beaten to a pulp. What do? It's one of those situations, and you really have to look at the whole situation. There's been tons of stuff that's gone on. Anyway, without further ado, let's look at some debates that we've had. I just want to compare. I don't want to spend too much time talking about them. I don't want to spend too much time looking at them. I just want to get a feel for them. I just want you guys to have a listen briefly, just even a few seconds, and you'll see such a difference. Start off here with George W. Bush and Al Gore, just to get a glimpse at what people used to sound like. I'm going to go through a few of these.
Some of the provocative acts of violence that have been going on.
Particularly now during this difficult period, we ought to be speaking with one voice, and I appreciate the way the administration has worked hard to calm the tensions. Like the Vice President, I call on Chairman Arafat to have his people pull back to make the peace. I think credibility is going to be very important in the future in the Middle East.
So even the insults were kind of a little more. They had a little more taste, right? And that's what I'm talking about. They were cordial, peaceful, and they had a few little jabs here and there, but they were jabs that were just kind of poking, not quite attacking, not as vicious. Let's check out the next one. Okay, so here's Obama and Mitt Romney. Let's check it out.
Has continued to battle us in the UN time and time again. I have clear eyes on this. I'm not going to wear rose-colored glasses when it comes to Russia or Mr. Putin, and I'm certainly not going to say to him, I'll give him more flexibility after the election.
I know you haven't been in a position to actually execute foreign policy, but every time you've offered an opinion, you've been wrong.
So we're talking about attacks. Okay, he's just talking about it right now. Let me play that real quick.
Attacking me is not talking about how we're going to deal with the challenges that exist in the Middle East and take advantage of the opportunity there and stem the tide of this violence.
So they intently listened to each other, talked about being attacked. He poked fun at him in terms of when Obama was talking to Putin and essentially told him, just wait till I get elected again. Things will be a little better for Russia. And so much different. Again, there was an attack. Things happened, but at the same time, it wasn't like we saw now. There was a professionalism to it. And I'm not just talking about Obama, I'm talking about general. If we go back on several debates. So let's go to the next one. So here we have Clinton and Dole. Let's see what they have to say.
So let's give credit where credit is due. Governor Engler of Michigan cut taxes 21 times, created a lot of new jobs. So did Governor Thompson. So did Governor Rowland. And a lot of people out there deserve credit, Mr. President.
I think a lot of people deserve credit, and I've tried to give it to them. But I believe that my plan is better than Senator Dole's ill-advised $550 billion scheme, which I'll say again will blow a hole in the deficit.
So you saw here, one speaks, the other listens, takes notes, responds. That's how it's always been. Always. This current debate, current election, current situation, we don't see that. That's not what's happening. Personally, my own opinion, I think we have a couple really old candidates, and these candidates can't retain the information long enough to be able to do that, so they have to spout it off immediately. That's my opinion. That's what I think. Everybody else is slightly younger, because nothing else makes sense, right? You have, typically this is what's done. Typically you listen. Typically you wait to respond. That's a debate, not an argument, a debate. Otherwise we call this a presidential argument, right? Let's move on. So here we have Ronald Reagan, Jimmy Carter. Okay, let's check out their debate.
He has never supported any of those arms control agreements. The limited test ban, SALT I, nor the anti-ballistic missile treaty,
Reagan's
nor the
taking notes.
Vladivostok treaty negotiated with
Looking
the Soviet
over.
Union by President Ford, and now he wants to throw into the wastebasket
Waiting patiently.
a treaty to control nuclear weapons on a balanced and equal basis.
Let's let him answer real quick. Let's see.
Now, I believe also that this mission, this responsibility for preserving the peace, which I believe is a responsibility peculiar to our country, that we cannot shirk our responsibility as the leader of the free world because we're the only one that can do it.
And so we see there, again, cordial, they wait their turn, take notes, back and forth. Very, very different. Let's see one more here. And so in this one, it's Nixon versus Kennedy, or Kennedy versus Nixon. You'll see here that they actually begin with an attack. Now, not with each other. It's those that are presenting the questions that give them the information and say so-and-so attacked you by saying such and such. Very different as opposed to just a direct attack. So we can see the progression here, but let's just check it out.
The president in his campaign has said that you are naive and at times immature. He has raised the question of leadership. On this issue, why do you think people should vote for you rather than the vice president?
Well, the vice president and I came to the Congress together, 1946. We both served in the Labor Committee. I've been there now for 14 years, the same period of time that he has. Experience in government is comparable. Secondly, I think the question is, what are the programs that we advocate? What is the...
So there he actually kind of gave him a compliment. He said, you know, we're pretty comparable in terms of our experience. Interesting. Let's jump over to Nixon.
Well, I would suggest, Mr. Van Oker, that if you know the president, that was probably a facetious remark. I would also suggest that insofar as his statement is concerned, that I think it would be improper for the President of the United States to disclose the instances in which members of his official family had made recommendations, as I have made them through the years, to him, which he has accepted or rejected.
Okay, so we get the point. So we have Nixon, who, you know, he has a long record as well that we can go over sometime. But you have Nixon, you have Kennedy, you have Clinton, you have Obama, you have Bush, you have all these people, Reagan, all very different. Sometimes I like looking back at these videos and remembering a time when people behave differently. And so in general, it's just really interesting stuff. But let's just move on. I just wanted to cover that really quickly with you guys. I just wanted to show you just to get a glimpse. So sometimes we forget where we came from. And if we forget where we came from, which is the important thing about history, is if we forget where we came from, we're bound to repeat things. We're bound to not learn from our mistakes. And so it's important to know the history and the present so that we can know what the future will look like. Let's move on. So the next story here on, it was in Yahoo News. It came on a few different areas. This is just the first one that I happened to find. Commission on Presidential Debates vows additional structure to prevent repeat of Tuesday night's fiasco. Ultimately, and here's one by Fox as well. Commission on President Debates carefully considering format changing after first Trump and Biden debate. And ultimately, they both are saying something to the effect of, because of the fiasco that happened, which is actually what I was kind of thinking as the debate was happening. I'm watching this debate and I'm thinking, okay, we need a mute button somewhere in here. We got to stop this. This is ridiculous. It's going nowhere, and it's just ridiculous. And I was just talking about this. We have Trump. We know who Trump is. We have Biden. We know who Biden is. We've known him for 47 years. We've known Biden for at least 8 years during the Obama administration. We know what his policies are. We know who he is. We've seen him as what they call Sleepy Joe. We've seen him as what they're saying he's on something. Now he's fully awake. I don't know. Don't care. We've seen Trump running his mouth. We've seen him in terms of what he's done the past 4 years. We've seen him, on his TV shows. We've seen him we know who Trump is. I think the problem about this debate was that we know who they are, and that's who they brought. Me personally, I was hoping they'd bring a different person. I was hoping they'd come with a different plan, that I would hear something different when I'd say, that's why I should vote for you. But I think the majority of people walked away thinking, that's why I don't want to vote for either one of you. That's the issue. I'm hoping, really, really hoping, praying that we will see something different, that we will see a different approach. And I think we will. I think they've heard loud and clear. The problem is I think both sides think they won, but the true and honest fact is both sides lost. Nobody walked away a winner, unfortunately. Some remained more composed than others. Trump went off. We heard that. Knew he was going to do that. He did it. A little more probably than we thought. Biden came and didn't even acknowledge the candidate. That was his plan. He stared at the camera, stared at somebody else, and didn't even acknowledge the person speaking to him. I think that wasn't a good strategy. It was good in terms of what he was trying to do, and it worked for him in that sense. But after he was not able to stand it anymore, that's where it broke down. That's where we got the shut up, you clown, you this. Stating that this person is not presidential, acting non-presidential, it's a disaster. Again, there was no new game. We got what we've always gotten. We've got what we expected. I was hoping to get what I wasn't expecting, and that was the biggest takeaway that I got. Let's continue. This next story says fewer people may vote by mail than expected. That could mean election day chaos. And here we have a picture of what they're expecting. Now, this isn't as chaotic as what they're thinking, but A lot of stuff going on right now. I've mentioned in my previous shows, I don't plan on sending in my ballot by mail. I really don't trust it. I think a lot of people don't. There's too much chaos right now. After this debate, really, you're going to trust these candidates? I don't trust the system right now. I just don't. It's chaos. And we have a USPS, United Postal Service, that has major issues, has lack of funding, has issues in administration, has been losing stuff, saying that your packages won't arrive for much later than they should. It seems almost by design, but it's crazy, the timing of it. And so I don't trust that right now. I'm not going to. People say, well, people have always voted by mail. Yes, but not by mass, not where every single person in the country is expected to do so. Not like this. I've looked at a mail-in ballot. I've looked at an absentee ballot. That's much different. Well, there's a small group of people, but you're talking about a massive flood of mail that will get lost, whether intentionally or unintentionally. And I just don't trust it. Sorry, just my opinion. Some experts predicted as many as 70% of all votes. So this was initially what they thought, but that's changing. It's dropping steadily. So both a recent NPR PBS NewsHour Marist poll and Citizen Data poll found that just 35% of Americans now say they plan to vote by mail this fall. So that's a huge drop, 70% to 35%. That's a huge drop. Why? Because we don't have confidence in the system right now. We don't have confidence in what's happening right now. And that's, what is that? 35%. So they lost 35%. That's not just Trump's people. That's in general. When you see Biden and all these other Democrats walking in to submit their ballot, how are you going to trust it when the same people that are telling you to send yours by mail don't? I don't. Sorry, but I'm going to go ahead and go in. I'm going to be safe. I'm going to wash my hands. I'm going to use sanitizer. I'm going to stay away from people. I'm going to use my mask. I'm going to do what I need to and be safe just like I do when I go to the store. No different. I think we'll be fine. And if I'm not, that's not my advice. I'm not a doctor. Talk to your doctor. Talk to somebody. Don't talk to me. That's my opinion. That's what I'm doing. Anyway, moving on. So this last story, it's by CNN. It says, there's no getting back to normal. Experts say the sooner we accept that, the better. So the whole concept of new normal that was tossed around a few months back, I think most people thought was temporary. They're now saying that this is going to be permanent. There's going to be permanent change. I don't know how that's going to go. I don't think the American people are used to that. Somebody telling them you're going to live like this. If we're talking about control, this is crazy, crazy control. What they're saying is, yet permanently serving ties with January is not necessarily a bad thing. Psychologists say the danger comes from hankering for normalcy again. So they want us to get used to the idea of a new normal, meaning it's not going to change. We may go to like a hybrid system, but that it's not going to change. That is not possible. It's not possible. I'm not sure how they're thinking that this is going to happen. It's insane. They're saying we're hardwired to adapt. We should be fine, so on and so on. Behaviors that stick are those that are wired into our daily routines. And so we should just get used to it. Guys, I don't know what to tell you, but I do not care to get used to this. I don't plan to. If this is going to be the new normal here, then I may be looking for a different place to live. And I don't mean in the country. I may have to find another place to live because this is not okay. We all have a God-given right. We all have a constitution that gives us that right. And I'm going to stick to that. I didn't come to live here to live under this control. I'm sorry. I'm okay. Obviously, I'm okay with it for a short period of time where we're doing it for the safety of others and ourselves. That's fine. But when you're telling me that it's going to continue from here on out, you've got something else coming, and I don't think I'm the only one. I think they're trying to push us in some direction. I'm not sure what that direction is. Well, just keep an eye out. We'll have to see where it goes. We'll see. So it finishes here. As with everything, we will find out how resilient we are, and the future may seem normal again, however different it is. In other words, too bad, so sad, get used to it, and it'll feel normal eventually. So just deal with it. Sorry, man. It ain't going to happen. Just not going to happen. And that's our show for today. Thank you guys for stopping by. Check it out anytime. Revisit the videos. There's other videos you can watch. Hang in there. There's more to come, not just from us, but also from these debates. The country's going wild. Stay sane, stay safe, and we'll see you guys next time. Don't forget to like, subscribe, hit the bell, hit the button, come back, comment, and we'll have some more stuff for you guys. We'll see you later. Bye.